enjoying yourself? Are you learning something? Yes. Do you like the women in the room? Yes. Are you home? Yes. You never want to leave? No. Should I talk to the Asillamur about us just moving in? Yes. That would be crazy. Can you imagine the conversation with your husband? We could start a women's commune in the beach dunes of California. And we'd all know how to make a lot of money, and all we'd need are our cell phones. So, check it out. I have a handful of women who were in your seats either last year, and for a couple of them, 2 years ago. And since they've been in your seats, their lives have actually totally changed, learning the same things that you're learning. Would it be fun to hear from them? Yes. They're absolutely amazing. I know you get sick of hearing from me with my raspy voice anyway. No, just kidding. Let's give these incredible, courageous, gorgeous entrepreneurial leaders and leverage leaders a big round of applause. Oh my gosh, you guys are so beautiful. Gaias. I have to retrain myself, you know? We always say guys. I do. It's Iowa. It's an Iowa thing. Oh. I always start to get a little bit... Actually, the truth is I think I get a little choked up when I see you all up here. You all are so radiant. Can you feel the power coming off of them? I'm just so proud of you. Like, what you've done since I first met you brings me to tears. Like, I'm really humbled. I'm humbled by the courage each of you has exhibited in your life. So I'm curious for each one of you. Let's just each share what you do so that women that do something similar can be paying attention as we answer the other questions. Willow?
So I have the pleasure of guiding women in finding their deepest sexual satisfaction so that they can walk through life confidently and experience incredible pleasure in their bodies.
Hi, everyone. I help support women who are tired of limiting what's possible for them by helping them understand where that lies in their life story, changing that relationship with that story so that they can live their life on purpose, for purpose, and in their best health and well-being.
And Megan is a healer of healers. Pretty much everyone you work with is a healer, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's give her a kiss for that. The healers need healing, too.
My name is Melissa. I support women with breast cancer to heal on the deepest levels so that they can get back their normal.
My name is Lisa, and I support women change makers, thought leaders, and entrepreneurs who are longing for more, to really fulfill the truth of their calling so they can have more time, make more money, and have greater impact.
My name is Clarissa. I empower women entrepreneurs and also business leaders to take a meaningful next step in their businesses so they can move connected to their life purpose and also become joyful and abundant.
My name is Alexis, and I work with companies to bridge the gender gap and help women be empowered leaders.
My name is Cami Ostman, and I support women in midlife transitions in their work and relationships and body changes and give them the tools to reinvent their lives.
What a group to follow. I'm Barbara Trask, and I am an ageless goddess coach, and I work with women 40 to 60 so that they can feel and look more vital and younger as they age.
Ay, 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 ay. Yeah. So when do you goddesses think is the right time to take your business to the next level? When is it like the right time or the right time to start a business? Some of these women, some of you didn't have businesses when you came last year, right? Raise your hand, like who of you didn't have a business when you came here last year? Alexis and Barbara and Cami, so 3 of you. So when's the right time?
Right now, and also there's no right time. So really it's right now. So go ahead and take that step. As soon as you feel that yes in you, and really just, listen to your body for that yes, because that's where you're going to find it, not up here.
Good piece of wisdom, right?
When you can't stand not doing it anymore.
I had so many excuses not to take the leap, whether it was money or time, or I kept putting off the deadline, and all those things happen no matter what, and so it became now. Now was the time to do it.
I would say when you get that calling that you feel in your bones, and you know that there is something that is waiting to be birthed through you, that moment is the time.
The answer for me is a question. Have you ever lived in the past? Have you ever lived in the future? So the best moment to do anything important in your life is right now. There's no better moment. Just do it.
I love that answer.
I would say the best time to do it is when the only excuse standing in your way is I don't know how. When you feel the passion, but you're unsure of how. So start now.
I'm going to say the best time to do it is when you want financial independence so you can make decisions about your relationship that don't have to do with money.
Nice. Can we take a breath into that one? That's big for a lot of us, right?
And you're not getting any younger.
Says the ageless goddess.
And the only thing that keeps you young is passion, and the thing that gets you old is being stuck. And so right now, and sometimes it's not about taking action, it's about asking questions, getting information, but you have to do something.
Beautiful, beautifully said. So a lot of you brought up excuses. I'm wondering, did you have an excuse holding you back?
I really loved what I did before. Leveraging into a whole nother thing, having to let go of part of my acupuncture practice and not treating my patients as much or as frequently was something I had to let go of in order to step into filling group programs and reaching more women at once.
And Willow's actually an incredible acupuncturist, right? Like, you love what you do.
I love what I do. I'm really effing good at it, and people love coming to see me for it. So
I remember you told me, I still want a group, though.
Yeah, of course. I want to reach more. I mean, when I do one-on-one, it's beautiful and incredible, but I know that I can heal a bigger population. And as I've learned through SAGE's programs, that when you put together a group, they learn and they heal from each other as well. And, the women in my group have been my coach just as much as Sage has, and I've been their coach. And, each one teach one. We're all here to learn and to teach and to grow. So.
Cool.
I had 2 really profound excuses. The first one was my community. I decided that it was up to me to just stay with my community. My community needed me, and the rest of the world didn't. So I could stay small in my community and feel safe in that. And the other excuse I had was that I could do it by myself. I don't need anybody else. I can do it all on my own. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Yeah. And it turns out that in order to show up in the world in a really big way, which was the calling that started to eat away at me, that thing that I couldn't stop or that I couldn't not do, it could only happen with the support of an amazing group of women who are traveling the same path and able to stand in each other's power and catch each other when we fall and hold each other up and celebrate. And it turns out you're actually not meant to do this by yourself. And the biggest and best thing you can do for yourself is to find that community that can help you show up in the world in a way bigger way.
I am a body worker, and I got paid one-on-one by the hour. And I can only take so many clients a week, and I can only charge so much money before I just had this cap. So I didn't know how. I didn't see anything past that. I didn't know who's going to pay me if my hands aren't on them, if they're not on my table. How are they going to see the value in that, or how do I translate that to what I can give? And then the block of I can only give so much in that hour that they are with me, and that was my biggest excuse. Is just the old model of body workers.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you can relate to that. Yeah, a lot of you. Thanks, Melissa.
Well, mine was less of an excuse, I would say, and more of just where I was in my reality, was that I had this dream of owning this center, and I had created that, and I was seeing my clients one-on-one, being a healer and an energy healer, and I was exhausted. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea how to move to the next level, or that there was a next level that was possible. So what I was looking for was a formula to, I was capped at the success that I was at that moment. And I needed to know how to get to the next level, which meant getting back my vitality, having more time and energy, and changing my model. So I took on a coaching model for my energy work, and having the opportunity to see people in a more expanded, committed way, which freed up my time and brought me more money and made my impact greater so I can serve more people because I'm more available. And now I get to sell my wellness center.
Selling the wellness center. Raise your hand if you are successful, but it's almost like there's no space to breathe. Yeah, so some of you are experiencing that.
I think my issue was more related to a block than to excuse. I've been coaching people for 5 years, but connected to an organization, to a corporate project, so more as a self-employed than an entrepreneur. And as any corporate projects, they one day come to an end, and that happened to me. I lost my project that was 70% of my income. And I didn't know where the money would come from anymore. So I was in a transition, I was feeling dizzy and lost. And that's when I decided to join the ELA program. And by the way, at that time, I didn't know even what a six-figure was. You know, I had like to count zeros to make it understand. So, and since then, I've been discovering that success can be also for me. Because so far, I used to look at those leaders in our industry in my country. I come from Brazil, and no idea how they get there. And now I know.
Once I got past the unsureness of how to start and where to take things, it was, who am I to stand in front of a group of women? What makes me be able to do that when I haven't necessarily walked in their shoes or had their experiences? So it was a lot of questioning, why am I valued, or why should I be valued to do this?
And Alexis, can you let them know one of the things that's unfolding for you with one of your bigger referral partners, just so that we can link the who am I to that? That'll be interesting, right? I mean, I've heard you say that before, like, I have this thing. Raise your hand if you have that, like, who am I to do this? Yeah, so let them know what's happened with one of your opportunities with speaking engagements.
So I'm getting to work with some pretty big companies in the entertainment industry. Disney and DreamWorks.
You might have heard of
possibly.
them. I don't know.
To work with their women on getting them the self-worth and love they need to be empowered leaders and start shifting that 7 and 12% at the top so we have more women sharing their stories and creating content for the kids.
And can you tell us how old you are?
I'm 24.
Woo! So when we're too young, it's who am I? I'm too young. And when we're too old, it's who am I? I'm too old. Cami?
Yeah, so I heard some of you say that you wanted to be or are authors, right? Can I ask, how many of you are writing a book or have written a book or are going to? Yeah. Okay, so I wrote a book called Second Wind. When I went through my own transformation during my divorce, I ran a marathon on every continent. And yeah, it was awesome. Even Antarctica. Because that's always the question I get. And even cooler than that, the Oprah magazine picked up my book. And January 2011, you can find it in there. And I thought I was going to be able to leverage that to open my business and to bring women into group programs and help them transform their lives in their reinvention years. That was a phrase that Sage gave me. I love that, the reinvention years.
It's working
right?
for you, right? Yeah.
I got stuck. I just didn't know what to do. So I worked for 5 years to try and use that amazing opportunity, and I lost it. I mean, I still have the book, but I didn't have the tribe behind me when I published the book so that I could really make it work for me. So that was just a stuck place. I just didn't know what to do. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think different than them, I'm a little bit like Lisa. I had a business and a success, and for me it was not about what to do or what was stopping me. Is more is I needed to do less, and in order to have the space to enjoy my life. And that's the thing that I've gotten out of this is I've been able to leverage and maintain my income doing less, and that's amazing. I've got freedom, but I didn't know. I didn't know it was possible to not work so hard.
I love what both of you just said because I feel like, first of all, when we're so full, we can't see the way to make more space. We start to just lose the life force energy that it actually takes to start a business. So it's even more important at that point to have just like a really solid plan that's going to make us money. And Cami, I'm appreciating what you said because I feel like so often we do put something out into the world, we even can get discovered, but if we don't have a monetization plan to back it up, I can't tell you how many really well-known people, and some of them have hired me and paid me tens of thousands of dollars a year to privately coach them, that are very well-known people who are not making money because they have this exposure, but they don't know how to monetize it. In fact, I'm doing a VIP day with one of them in a couple of weeks. Right, a $10,000 VIP day, because she has a list of 70,000 people. She's making less than $100,000 a year. And so we think, when I get discovered, when I get this exposure, it's all going to take off. And if we don't know how to monetize, nobody's going to do that for us. And so now, Cami has programs in place so that next time Oprah picks up her book, which she will again, you'll put them in their programs. Let's look at what was a moment that you ladies thought you wouldn't get through, like the challenge moment where it's like, I don't know if this is going to work, I want to quit, throw in the towel. Not that you've ever had those moments. What was your biggest challenge?
Yeah, I've never had a moment like that.
Okay.
No, right. I would say when I joined Leverage, I had a lot of resistance to joining Leverage. I was absolutely not going to do it, and I sure as hell wasn't going to do a telesummit. And
one of the things that I just want to say is that our first year program that oftentimes women join at this event, and we'll let you know about it in a little bit, It's called Entrepreneurial Leadership Academy. And one of the great things about joining Entrepreneurial Leadership Academy is that when you graduate from that program, we don't drop you. If you would like to stay with us another year, you do, because now you're making money at the end of the year. Now we teach you the online marketing, the list building, reaching a ton more people online. One of the ways that we teach people to do that is by hosting a telesummit. Now, there's some of you in the room, and you know who you are. You already have a mailing list of opted-in people who have opted into your websites, right? Like of at least 500 or more people. You know, you may be a fit to go directly into our year 2 program. It's a very strict application process if you are. And if you're not quite sure what a mailing list is, or if you're not quite sure what an opt-in is, then you're probably not a fit yet, but you may be in a year. Now, when our women graduate from our first year program, sometimes they want to stay with us and sometimes they don't, but it's interesting when they do decide to stay, and then in that second year, they take off. I mean, that is what's really fun.
Yeah, it's way super fun. So I finally let go of my resistance. I started doing the telesummit, but the moment that I was having doubt about it all was in the beginning when I started inviting speakers, and I was getting a lot of no's, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do this. But you know, I got the support that I needed, and I kept asking, and those no's turned to yeses, and then the upward spiral has been flying since then.
Do you want to let them know a couple of the speakers on your summit?
Yeah, I have Mantak Chia on my summit, and Allison Armstrong.
Have you ever heard of them? Can we give her a round of applause for that?
So I think I may be a veteran here because it was actually 4 years ago that I came to this event after having done Sage's Sacred Client Enrollment Program. And what I really didn't want was to niche. I really didn't want to. And any of the healers in the room, you know that we do 600 different things for people, right? And here's Sage saying to me, what do you do? And I gave her a list of about 12 different things. I do this, and I do this, and I help this person and that person. She says, no, what do you do? Okay, I'm out of here. And I left. I mean, I didn't leave the event. I stayed for the event. The event was amazing and wonderful and transforming, as so many of you know from this weekend. What I did do was take away from the program I'd done with her and the experience that I had here, and I let it settle. And I continued on with my business. I'd already been in business for 4 years when I found Sage. And I really needed to let all of that settle, including the fact that I didn't want a niche. I didn't want to say, this is what I do, and this is who I am. And 4 years ago, Sage said to me, you're a healer of healers. And I said, no, I teach classes to people who want to develop their intuition. She said, no, you're a healer of healers. I said, no. It turns out, she's right. She could see something in me. She could see a direction for me that I wasn't appreciating yet in what it was that I was doing. And in now claiming that, I now have programs that I'm running that are incredibly successful. I now accept help. Because that was one of my biggest challenges. Remember I said earlier that I felt like I had to do it all on my own. And part of that comes from not asking for help or accepting help when it shows up. So I've moved through that challenge of I'm not going to ask for help or I don't need help. And that would really be one of my biggest challenges. I've basically got out of my way and allowed Sage to help me, Shayna to help me, the amazing women in the program to help me see what's possible for me. It's been amazing.
And would you be willing to share, Miss Healer of Healers, how much extra income that you've generated with the model?
Yes. Can I share the little bit of the backstory with the
Sure.
dollar bill? 4 years ago, when I did the same exercise that you did this morning with the dollar bill and writing an amount that I thought I could make in a month, and it was a huge stretch, and I came up with the number $20,000. So I still have that dollar bill. It sits in my wallet. Over the course of this last program in Leverage with Sage, I held 4 different group programs, one of which is still running now. It's a 9-month healers program. And when I did the math, guess how much extra money I earned this year from doing the work from stepping into being a healer. Any guesses? Over $20,000 in 1 month when I filled my program.
It's not chump change, is it?
No, and it's real that what you put on those dollar bills today, that's real. Keep them in your wallet. It'll happen.
Yeah. Let's give her a kiss.
I had a lot of resistance, and I couldn't visualize how it would look. So I'm really great in the treatment room, right? And you're healing, or you have all this creativity, or you're very aware of this space and what needs to be there. But I didn't have the steps, and I couldn't even visualize. And then possibility that it could even be me. Can I step into that? That's for other people. I couldn't feel that for me or see it. And I come to this program, and these women that we're in this group with look at me, and I can see myself through them. And I actually not just have ideas and a drive or this feeling where I want to go, but I can visualize and actually see myself there and feel what it feels like to do what I love to do and really help women and show up as opposed to hanging back. And so,
Melissa,
just open up.
one of the things I feel like you've walked is this message that you've chosen to help breast cancer survivors and other women who are in a journey with their breasts, and yet you have never had breast cancer.
No? Yeah?
And so raise your hand if you want to help people with an issue that you haven't directly been through yourself. Yeah, so this is a fascinating place. I'm curious if you'd be willing to tell these ladies just like a really quick Cliff Notes version of one of the clients that you've worked with as a result of you being willing to help women go through something that you may not have actually experienced yourself, but you have a commitment to this. So just a really cool Cliff Notes of one of your clients.
I had a woman come in for lymphedema, and it was the first session, and so I start working on her. It's very subtle as I just kind of get a feel for what's going on, and I really just barely touched her on the side of her rib cage, and she was startled and didn't realize how much that even hurt, just that was even sore. I asked her to look at the scar and just see what we're looking at. She had a bilateral mastectomy with implants and reconstruction surgery, and one of the implants was rejected. And so when I saw the scar, and I have a history with pain management and scars, it was one of those where it just hit me in the belly. I felt nauseous, and then I felt quite sad. It was so deep and with the radiation. And then all at the same time, I got angry. Who the fuck is letting this woman walk around like this is okay? And she doesn't even know that she can get better or that this can be helped. And so I worked with her and just saw amazing transformation. Lymphedema, symptomatics, of course, dropping, her getting range of motion, all these lists of things. But I saw this woman transform and walk on the planet like she was here. And she quit hiding and she showed up.
Can you imagine if Melissa had let her gremlins of how dare you work with such and such person because you haven't been through it yourself? Can you imagine that these women that are coming out of Western medical doctors, and no offense, there's a time and a place for Western medicine, but can you imagine if she had not said yes, and now some of these women who literally didn't have full range of motion because they have infections in their mastectomy scar the transformation that you can provide for people when you get out of your own way will blow your mind. Is this making sense? Thank you for saying yes.
You're welcome.
Well, I can definitely relate to the niche issue. I've been a big niche switcher, but I would say the truth is that I was conditioned to do everything by myself, to work really, really hard. And I believed that there was nobody there to help me. So when I came into these programs, I was tired and I was, as I said, maxed on many levels. And the biggest transformation is that I have a formula and I have women at my back that remind me every moment how powerful I am, how important my message is, and how impactful my presence is. And I know that I can count on them if I need a phone call, if I need a reminder, if I need to be told to be quiet and to stop pushing and to relax and to let spirit come in and talk to me for a little bit before I do my next launch or my next thing, that I don't have to push anymore. I have this beautiful assistant that's here today. That's really huge for me to have an assistant. And I've just learned that all the pushing I did my whole life because I believed it's what I needed to do to survive was not serving me. And when it wasn't serving me, then I wasn't able to serve at the level that I am committed to serving at. And by knowing what it feels like to have a tribe of women and to have formulas and structures and a plan and love and graciousness, I see what's possible for myself. And I'm really inspired to serve at such a huge level. And also, I never liked to speak on stages. I was a belly dancer for years, and I loved to dance, but I would never go to the performances because I didn't want people to see me. I did it for me, and I did it for spirit. And I'm like, what stage can I get on? Like, let's get on stage and do things. So that's a huge transformation for me.
Love that. Thank you, Lisa.
Well, I've been through so many challenges. The first one was certainly related to doing too many things. Please raise your hand if you ever caught yourself doing thousands of things at the same time. Right. So believe it or not, I was coaching women in transition, women searching for their life purpose, startups, established entrepreneurs, and also some CEOs. And I was getting crazy. So,
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, and I couldn't explain what I did.
And I remember that.
Yeah. So first thing, the challenge was to focus, and once I did that choice and got clear on my message, all the doors started to open. And then came the big surprise. I started to have enough income and clients, but I was still not happy. Why? And I get really confused about it. And then I remember one day, said something to us. She went, well, if you are playing a good game, but you are not happy yet, maybe you are not playing a game big enough. And So I started to tell my friends and my partners about what I was willing to do and that I was willing to speak on stages, to enroll clients. But I was thinking about doing like small things, a little talk, 20 people, things like that. And guess what happened? A friend of mine, she promotes nice events. And the first talk I was invited to was to talk 10 minutes for 200 people. And I was the first to talk in a lineup of 15 specialists that used to talk all the time. And I thought I would die before going to stage. But I didn't. So here I am. And after that, many other opportunities followed, like doing signature talk for 60 people. I also had the opportunity to talk to some group of male CEOs. That was a tough challenge, but I also survived again. And they seem to like it. So I'm discovering myself on the stage, step by step. And now I'm happy with my role. And I know I have a message to deliver. And I stopped just worrying about survival. And now I'm more connected to the difference I'm meant to bring. And yeah, I'm so happy.
zillion accents, right? So ladies, last three goddesses, we have just about 5 minutes left, but like the heart of the challenge, yeah.
For me, the heart of the challenge was redefining how I viewed success right now. When the money wasn't coming in right away because I wasn't clear or I wasn't getting myself enough support, how to define getting out there in public or talking with a potential partner, that was success for that day and that would lead to monetary success. And those are steps you have to take. And for me, that was a big shift to make around the money's not going to come if I don't put in the hard days of work.
I think the heart of the challenge for me was mindset. In the first retreat, Sage had us do a partner exercise where we named the things that we believe about money. And I heard myself say, I believe I'm not good with money. And my partner, who was not supposed to speak, said, is that what you believe, or does someone else believe that about you? And I was like, oh my God, my husband believes that I'm not good with money. But I fucking am, you know? Like, I'm really good with it, actually, as it turns out, and and every time I hit something where I'm like, I don't know how to do that, and I'm like, God, I have a master's degree. I can fucking figure it out with Google. Like,
Well, sort of ditto what they've all said. And for me, the biggest struggle was comparing myself and thinking I had to do it Sage's way or someone else's way, and trying to fit into things that weren't right. And I had to give myself permission to show up and to listen and to learn and to only do what felt right.
Last question, and let's start with Barbara. What's the biggest result you've had? What's the biggest thing you're walking away with? What does it look like tangibly?
I made my income goal on the paper.
Which was what?
Well, $10,000 a month.
Can you say that one more time? Let them feel that.
I made my income goal of $10,000 a month, working less, and actually did something ridiculously crazy, outrageous, wonderful, which I took a storytelling course with Serena and drove to Santa Cruz once a week for 5 months to do something completely and totally for me that had nothing to do with money or anything.
Can we give her a kiss?
For me.
Mwah.
Oh, it's just awesome. And I would never have known that was possible.
And it was amazing to watch you on stage.
in 2014, I grossed about $4,000 the whole year. And in 2015, I just did my taxes. I'm like this close to 70,000.
Really awesome, Cami. Amazing.
I have some pretty exciting speaking events coming up. I get in front of Women in Animation, which is a group of 2,000 females in the industry. So that's what I'm most excited about and taking away. And we have some great contracts coming in that they would sign for $80,000 for one contract. So.
Well, I moved from seeing only individual clients to groups and also corporate. I made during the ELA program kind of $80,000. This means I became a six-figure in my country. It's a matter of dollar rate that changes all the time. And my next job is to be a six-figure in dollars. And now I'm launching my first group program. And I've been doing nice talks for entrepreneurs as well. Last one, we had 50 seats that were covered in 20 minutes.
Nice.
My dollar bill last year said $15,000, and I made that in November. Yeah. This year said 50,000. And I'm breaking 6 figures this year.
For all you body workers out there, I think one of the main pieces that shifted my practice and my view of myself and what could happen is I have clients at a point within the year with you to pay me $997 for a package. So they weren't just paying me $100 and whatever dollars for an hour or whatever it is you charge, and they invested the time and they showed up, and I was able to find stability in my income because they're invested and they would pay that much. And I remember the first few times asking that and just really having to hide because I almost like, oh, really? Like I didn't have to, I was already ready to talk them into it. And they say, okay. And they can see, they show up and they want to get better and they feel the connection and where I can take them. I had 3 months within the last 4 where I made over $10,000. I started with Sage, I was at 38, and I'm almost at 80.
So when you started, you were 38,000 a year, and now you're almost 80,000 a year.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Well, absolutely, there is the financial success and the financial changes, and that is incredibly important for a sense of well-being. Equally as important is that sense of well-being, that realization that I can stand in my own power in the way that I teach my clients and my students and my healers to do, and that I can actually show up in the world in a bigger way, and that I have this whole group of people, these beautiful women who have my back and who celebrate my successes. And one of those major successes this year was the publication of my book and oracle cards that I created out of my experience of leaving my 23-year marriage, where I'd gotten myself really, really small. And over the course of the last 4 years, of which the Leverage program and what I've accomplished in that program have been pivotal to my no longer being small. And feeling that I deserve, as every single one of you do, to stand up on a stage and say, I did it, you can do it. That's the most important sense of well-being and the biggest success from all of this.
Yes, you can do it. I sat out in the audience 2 years ago and I was like, someday I'm going to be up on that stage sharing with all the women out there that they can do this too. So here we are again, and it is something that you can do. For me, the money piece, I can now honestly call myself a 6-figure entrepreneur, which feels amazing, really incredible feeling. But beyond that, there's an internal up-leveling that happens to you throughout this transformation, however long you choose to take it, and in whichever direction you choose to take it. But that internal up-leveling, there's really no words for it. It's just a sensation. It's a way that you carry yourself through the world just more confidently, and how then you attract what's coming to you much more easily. It becomes much, much easier, I promise. The first year's a little rough, the road's a little rocky, there's gonna be bumps, but then you're gonna start to fly, and then you just keep flying higher and higher.
Did you all get something out of this? Hold on. What I know is that it does take tremendous gumption to take that tender gift that's inside of you, that tender thing that's in your heart, and actually take it out and share it with the world and charge money for it. It is the most courageous thing any of us could do. Do you know that in ancient China, it was the healers that were at the top of the financial scale? Surgeons didn't get paid nearly what an energetic healer got paid in ancient China. And I don't know what this world has come to, that we have stopped valuing the energy and the healing that we can bring, but you all have brought so much love and so much delight and so much transformation to the clients that you work with because you now are standing for yourselves. Let's give them one more round of applause. Thank you for taking your chair with you. And it is such an honor to have you on stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sage.
Mwah. Those are some pretty incredible women, huh? How many of you want to be up here next year? Nice. I really want that for you. And absolutely, it's possible. It's not at all out of the question.